Hoi hoi, it's louisity again, and I am glad that my fate chart picked Return to the Isle of the Lost by Melissa De La Cruz, so we are going to be having a reading vlog for this one. Hooray! So it's been a while since I read the first book in the series, Isle to the Lost, or The Isle to the Lost, and you know how I felt about it. If you don't, you can check out my reading vlog of it. And finally, it's been more than 3 years since I read, that one, and I'm definitely excited about what's going to happen next. So let us begin reading this one. So here's a reading update now. So far, I'd have to say that I find it interesting wherein, like the children of like some of the main characters out there, some of the main heroes turn out to be not so nice people. So I guess apples don't fall that far from the tree. And so far, I'm curious about what's going to happen. How are they going to know who is this person, like giving them anonymous messages about like going back to the Isle of the Lost? So, yes, who could this person be? Like, let's find out. And so far, I guess maybe because I've been reading a lot of fantasy books that really captivated me. Like, for some reason, there's something about this that, I mean, in terms of like being like hooked into the story, it hasn't really hooked me that yet. I mean, so far it's decent. I get what it's trying to say. It's not convoluted. It's not like, what are we talking about? But there was just something about it that is not that enchanting for me. I do feel the Disney vibes though, but like for some reason I'm just like I'm not sure. There's like a bit of disconnect, but it's not bad. I mean, it's not something like really bad or like something we're in so far. I'd say, oh, these are the good things, but this is just like terrible. So we'll see how I'll feel about it, and I hope that it gets better. I think like from the last scene that I read, because I'm already like more than 100 pages in, and so like I'm kind of like 1/3 done with the book. So I think that the stakes are going to get higher, as we go along. The stakes are going to be bigger, and we are going to be seeing a lot more. So I'll catch you folks later. Well, so here's a reading update. Now, I'd have to say that so far, things are getting more intense, the stakes are getting higher, and honestly, I wasn't able to figure out who M is. I thought it was Merlin, but no, it's not. But I like the fact that they're now intrigued about, like, there's a lot of like questions that arose, and slowly you're getting curious about like who the dragon is, where are the other villains, where is Maleficent? Either is Maleficent still a lizard? That's another thing. And I love the fact that we are just sort of wanting to know more, so that kind of like gravitates you to the story for like quite some time. I felt like just earlier the first part was there was a lot of talking when I believe that if this is going to be like a movie, those scenes are going to be really quick. And what else can I say? Yeah, so they're already back in the Isle of the Lost. So we'll see how those things are going to go. And then I like the fact about like Ben not revealing to his people what is actually happening, or what at least he thinks he knows, because while that's not really the best at all circumstances, it's just like how sometimes life is, and how it created a bit of parallelisms, how like leaders would like filter the information that I have, so sometimes those things happen. So yeah, and I really wonder how this story is going to go. I'm already on page 200, so I'm definitely looking forward about what's going to happen next. I was just really hooked about, like, if their parents were still in the Isle of the Lost, those scenes where, Mal, Evie, Carlos, Jay were, like, trying to look for information. And I'm feeling Evie a bit, just because she is not really trusting Maddie, which I actually find that interesting. I feel like there might be some twists, but I may be wrong again. I mean, I made a mistake of who M is. It's not Merlin, so but maybe Merlin has something to do with the story later. We'll find out. So I'll catch folks later. Very interesting about Maddie because I knew there was something sus about her, and now with the crocodile scene. But you know what? Like, what happened to Mal, and of course the rest of the troop, is like a blessing in disguise. They were able to find like some sort of an entrance, or like had more leads to where like the catacombs, and of course Cruella de Vil, Jafar, and the evil queen like are. So they're having like some sort of a progress with their like with their mission and all that quest. Anyway, since I read like more than 200 pages already, it's time for another fake jar pick. TBR fake jar time, hoorah! So I'm shaking it. Let's see what I'm gonna be picking. I'm looking at the camera. Let's. Whoa. I'll go with this one. See, like, what this contains. Okay, I'm gonna be completing a series soon. I kind of had a feeling that this was gonna be like my next pick. Imagine Me by Tahera Mafi. So I just finished reading Return to the Isle of the Lost by Melissa De La Cruz, and I'd have to say that I didn't expect who that dragon is going to be. I was quite shocked, honestly, which is pretty good. And I love that the stakes got like a little bit better and more intense as we go through the story. Maybe not too intense enough for like a middle grade or preteen kind of book, but it was still pretty good. And honestly, I love the fact that towards the end there was like this wisdom about how they were sort of tested, and overcoming like the things that they could possibly be like weak about, or their weaknesses or their opportunities, you name it. So I love the fact that they have that part which we provided like a spark to the narrative and to the situations of our characters. Probably if you're a character-driven person, that's what you're gonna love. That's what's that's what you're going to love. Oh my god, I got a little tongue-tied right there for a minute. But anyway, yeah, and where are the other villains? We have to find out. And I just love the fact that there were like things here that you just didn't expect that it was going to turn out. Overall, I was satisfied with my reading experience of this one. I just felt like the first part could have been much more of there has to be some sort of an intense like build up. Maybe it's because I've been reading a lot of like other middle grade or preteen fantasy books that really was able to establish like what the narrative or the plot going to be, what the stakes are going to be, compared to this one. This one's there's a little bit of a la 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 kind of like thing going on, which is not really the best, but if there is like some sort of a redemption to the narrative along the story, then it could be pretty good, and I'm definitely looking forward to read A Rise to the Isle of the Lost, and I already have a copy of it as you've watched my, one of my previous book hauls, so you better watch out for that. If ever, I might do a reading vlog of Rise to the Isle of the Lost. That's what I mean. So, but yeah, if you haven't seen that book haul, I'm going to try to link down below which book haul it is. So just watch out for it. So, I'm going to give this book 4 out of 5 stars. Let me know down in the comment section below if you are interested in reading the Isle of the Lost series, or also known as the Descendants series. And if you've made it this far, leave a moon emoji, and I hope you folks like this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon somewhere down there to keep yourselves posted about my videos. And also put down links and handles on my social media accounts, so feel free to check me out and follow me there as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. Always be thankful and unleash the reader in you. Bye, y'all. Mwah.